Emma Silverheels. I am from Buffalo State College. I'm the Technology Accommodations Coordinator. My expertise is in assistive technology. And so Jamie and I have banded together in this one to present. And we called it the eyes and ears of the beholder because we really want you to experience what it is like to be listening to content or watching content. So what we I was just telling Jamie too that the 11 o'clock presentation was so awesome. And, I was writing some notes down and I was thinking, it's all of us are kind of trending in that direction of student engagement, usability, user-friendly, and being able to make our courses consistent and be able, students to be able to understand the content without having too much difficulty with navigation. So um, again, we can go to the next slide. And so today's agenda with that would be that we are going to do a few poll questions. I know Jamie loves polls and we get a lot of information from that poll. And so we are going to have a few poll questions just to gauge where you are at on your campuses. And then we will go ahead and watch some demonstrations of how the inaccessible and accessible content reads, and also about closed captioning and how a student learns from closed captioning. And to end it, we will be providing you some resources that you can take with you. These presentations are available later on, so you should be able to take those and click on those links and go to the various resources that will be provided. We are here also to answer any questions you have, so feel free to ask away. I'll try my best to answer them if I know the answers, or we will find the answers for you if we don't have the answers today. All right, so moving on, I see a really great group of people here and I'm excited about doing this. Okay. All right, it's okay. I know this, Jamie, this is a little bit different because we are doing a web site share instead of a PowerPoint share through things. So this is why we're doing and the reason is because we are going to show you some video recordings that are already open and ready to go. So we're not spending any time trying to get that click and play. So I'm hoping, and please let us know in the chat if you're not aware that your college, as a SUNY college, has an EIT, which is the Electronic and Information Technology Accessibility Plan in place. So every college has a plan. It has been approved by or still under consideration. I believe most of them have been already looked at and feedback provided to campuses on the EIT accessibility plan that the SUNY provost has asked all colleges to create. The EIT accessibility plan also has supporting standards that the colleges were to use in creating that plan. So if you are not aware, please visit the SUNY EIT accessibility webpage and you should be able to get all the provosts and the announcements, the policy, and the why we are doing this and all the standards, all of that information is available on that page. Going ahead.
So the captions cover the forward button.
Yes,
so it takes a moment.
That. Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to start back with menti.com for those of you who did it in the first session. So you can either hold up your phone and use this QR code that will bring you to this poll, or you can use a browser and go to menti.com using the poll code 94455881. We'll put that code into the chat. Okay, there you go, Sumana.
Okay. So tell me what you're seeing because I'm not seeing the Menti answers.
Yeah,
so what does accessibility? There we go. The reaching everyone, full access for all.
I see a
In,
tough there. Is that tough? It's challenging to meet those accessibility standards?
yes, that's a good elaboration on tough would be nice. Yes.
Because some of them can be very challenging.
And one of the things about making your course content accessible is not try and do it all in one sitting, like an entire 14, 15-week course, has to be done in the last week before school starts or something like that. That is tough. That is where I would really emphasize tough. So good thing about accessibility is you can chip away at it slowly and you'll see that it becomes second nature to you in the way you create the content. And they're very easy. It actually makes life a lot easier in the long run, not just for the course content creator, but definitely for the user, whether they have a disability or not. It's irrelevant. When you have the content accessible, it actually becomes user friendly. And we talked a lot about the Oscar rubric this morning, and the Oscar rubric followed also makes that user friendly, accessible content that is really great. Okay, let's see. Inclusivity, equitable, not standardized. That's another word. Welcoming. Yes. All right. Okay. Do we want to
Sure, let's move on to the
move on?
next
Yeah. The next one is, where do you rate yourself in this? Expert, able to create content without any help, your moderate expertise, you have some of that information, somewhat, you know what the standards are, but not sure, not comfortable because you know about it, but you don't really know how to do it, and you have no idea what accessibility means. So those are, and let's see.
one.
Very good.
So this will give us like an average of what people rate here. There's
Right.
a
Yes.
question from
Yeah.
David. For me, the greatest challenges in making my courses accessible is about PDFs of scanned documents and then correcting subtitles in my Panopto videos.
Okay. That's a good point. You know, scanned PDFs, scanned images, they're not accessible. I would highly discourage using scanned content unless you have a software that will convert the scanned content to accessible content. And it may be more readily available on your campus than you think. If you contact your accessibility office or student disability services, they may have a software called Read and Write that might help you with converting. I'm not saying that it's going to be completely accessible, but it'll be readable. It'll actually be able to at least make it readable.
Well, with
You're, go ahead.
41 people responding, Sumana, we
Okay,
have people kind of right about
that's really
they're
good.
not experts, but at least they're aware of it and they
Yep,
know enough that if they don't know it, they can get help. That's great.
right. And the fact that people are in this session and they've been in the sessions before and listening to it and hearing it, I'm sure the awareness is building, you know. I was also pleasantly surprised at CIT, where there were a lot of sessions and every session talked about accessibility.
It's just
Okay.
integrated into everything now.
Yep, yep. So yeah, this is a good one too. How would you rate? And this percentage that we have in here actually coincides with Blackboard Ally. If your campus has Ally on it as integrated in your LMS, and it is, agnostic. Ally is LMS agnostic, so it runs in Moodle, whether it's, Blackboard or definitely Blackboard or any other LMS, it's able to run in it. So if you know where your course content is, most of it, if it's you can put that in here wherever you think. This is, yep, the red, the orange, the green, if you see that. Oh, somebody has a perfect score. That is rare, but that's awesome. I see good good content creators in this group.
Yeah. It's good not to see the low.
Yes. And even if there is a low, it doesn't matter. Like, you have to figure out that content. Like, I had a faculty member who teaches in a theater. I think she teaches about arts, and if the 100 images in one course, and it needs someone to have actually visually look at the content and be able to answer questions or do the work. So if they're not all have all text, you have to really consider what it is that you're achieving. All text is highly encouraged, but if there is a place where it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. So
So there was a question about Ally, and thank you, Marie, for sharing the link to what Ally is. It's just a tool to help us determine the kind of accessibility score of particular content within our learning management system. So it's very helpful.
it's like a crawler that looks at your content and kind of evaluates it to show you where your accessibility lies. And if you haven't seen the meters that you're seeing, the red, orange, light green, and dark green meters in your course content, then your institution either does not have Ally or has not turned it on for all of the courses that they're as an evaluation tool.
So we have a couple questions in the chat that we might want to address before we move on. Jean had mentioned that I've had recent challenges with design delivery to accommodating mental health challenges, PTSD, anxiety, and other MH diagnoses. What is really required or acceptable for mental health accessibility?
That's, so mental health accessibility, what were the challenges that you were facing? Was the student having issues concentrating and watching and doing like dedicated amounts of time? Does the student need breaks? Is it anxiety provoking? Is the content itself anxiety provoking? That is again a question to be worked with. Um, there isn't anything that I would ever say specifically for a certain disability, right? So if you follow the guidelines for creating good content, it should be it should address any kind of issues that is available, that is in your vast majority of your students. So I'm not 100% sure that I'm answering the question, but we can talk about this at length, even after or at another time too. It's a little bit more elaborate than that.
There's another question. What if the technical standards of the program itself require vision? Do you
Yeah.
still need to label every image? I teach diagnostic imaging and every PowerPoint is primarily images.
And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about the um, course that required visual perception, its ability to be able to see. Now, when you're doing imaging and diagnostics, is this a specialty course where the student is going to be somebody that's going to be using a machine to kind of interpret a visual content? Then yes, I believe that they need to have that vision, and your course description has to have that information written in there to kind of make sure that students are aware of what they're getting into it when they're getting into it. Do they have the right tools to be able to learn that?
So I've moved on to the next slide here. So what is your approach to improving the accessibility of your online courses? And the options are, from this point forward, all new content that I create is going to be accessible. The next choice is I'll work on my existing courses as time permits. Maybe you're going to choose one accessibility issue and work on that at one time. It's like maybe all of the images in your courses, you're going to put in alt text. Maybe you're going to work on all of the headings in all your Word documents one semester, et cetera. Or is there another way that you're going to approach improving accessibility? If you select other, we'd love it if you'd post in the chat. all of the above.
And I see where Maria has written about I had an anxiety issue where the student did not want others to comment on their discussion posts. It was very difficult because I was concerned about whether they were no longer completing the requirements of the course. Allow their peers to comment. That is definitely something I would say you have to work with your Student Accessibility Services office and work with the student and that office, because that office is the expert in that field, to be able to guide you as to how to address that issue.
Right.
Please remember that you all have student accessibility services, accessibility resources, student access center, disability services on your campus. And when there are specific issues like this, you should always try to contact them and work with them to resolve that.
Great.
Okay. All
Nice.
right, Jamie, what's our next thing? Okay, we are going to watch a short demonstration. And I have to warn you, the speech is JAWS, which is a screen reader program that someone with a vision impairment uses. And when this speech talks, if you want to listen to it one more time, we are completely okay with playing it twice. So let's go ahead and start the first one and listen to this content. Please let us know if you're not able to hear clearly.
Okay. Ready? We might have to play it twice.
Percentage of grade will be available on Blackboard and determined according to the following distribution. Length. Grade will be available. Graphic picture 25.52 inches wide by 3.24 inches high.
Okay, we'll play that again.
The percentage of grade will be available on Blackboard and determined according to the following distribution. Length. Grade will be available. Graphic picture 25.52 inches wide by 3.24 inches high.
So what do you think was the problem with this content? You can write in, you can, into Menti. Speech seemed fuzzy. That is probably not the problem I'm looking for. All text is missing, yes.
Right.
Table dimension. We didn't go to the table, but yeah, table dimensions.
That'll be an issue later.
Yeah.
Right.
Lack of description, that is actually the biggest thing here, is where it told you what the size of the image was, but what percentage is an A? How much is a homework? How much is, what was it on? How much is assignments? What's the grade distribution? There is no way of getting that information for someone who is unable to see that screen by just listening to the screen reader. So it was missing all text. And if there is no all text, then the next best thing would be to provide a text explanation of that image right below it. Still have an alt text, give it a short description of what the alt text is, and then have more details presented in an alternate format, because it is important for the student to know what the grade distribution is and what they should be concentrating on. Okay, so now let's read the right way in which it would do it.
Chart demonstrating the point distribution. Assignments and discussions are worth 45% of the overall grade. Exams are worth 40% of the overall grade. And attendance is worth 15% of the overall grade. Context menu. Leaving menus. Print view. Edit. Pane. Description. Edit. Blank. Image of pie chart demonstrates are worth 4. Attendance is worth 15% of the overall grade.
So as you see, that is the alt text that was written in for the image. And when the alt text is there, the screen reader will actually read that content. So a description is very, very important. So in Microsoft Word, when you're doing alt text, they have actually completely eliminated the title part of it, and they only have the description. Because initially they used to have two areas of where you have to put information in, and now you can only do it you only need the description. So if your description was missing, it would still be an error. So they've taken the heading out completely, and all you have to do is put in a description. Now, that description, if you don't want to write that big long description in the alt text, then go ahead and you can put whatever minimum information you want in there, but then have that text information right under or after or below you have that image. So the student gets that information in an alternate format. Okay, now we have another. So this was a demonstration of alt text or images with and without alt text. Our next demonstration is for tables. So
Grade equals letter grade. Table 1. Uniform table. Table score. Row 1 of 11. Tab. Table 1. Uniform table score. Letter grade. Tab. Score. 94-100. Tab. Letter grade. A. Select tab. Score. 90-93. Tab. Letter grade. A dash. Select tab. Score. 87-89. Select tab. Letter grade. B plus. Selected.
I'm going to play that again, Sumana.
okay.
Grade equals letter grade. Table 1. Uniform table. Table score. Row 1 of 11. Tab. Table 1. Uniform table score. Letter grade. Tab. Score. 94-100. Tab. Letter grade. A. Select tab. Score. 90-93. Tab. Letter grade. A dash. Select tab. Score. 87-89. Select tab. Letter grade. B plus. Selected.
Sumana, I think that was the accessible version, not the inaccessible version.
That is the accessible version, but there is something that I want you to hear here also, is how many of you picked up on how it was reading? Any comments on it? Yeah, it is difficult for the speech without looking at the table. That is true. So we will play the inaccessible version also so that you can now differentiate between the two.
Let me just grab it. Give me just 1 second.
Numbers were read by digits. I actually really wanted you to pay attention on that one. That was very important. There were some that was reading 97 to 100 dash 100, and there was one that read 87 dash 89 or something like that. So there it did digits, and before that it did the numbers, like you should be hearing it. So yeah, you know what the percentage breakdown is.
Sumana, I cannot find that link. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's
both the links are going to the accessible version.
okay, and
Not
that's
the
fine.
inaccessible,
It's all
sorry.
right. I have it, but it's all right. So, what was the difference between the two, the way it was reading the digits, is because 87, a space was missing. And Jamie, if you just want to show the screen, if you look at the screen here, I don't know how clearly you can see it, but if you see it's 94 space dash space 100. And when it read that, it read 94 dash 100. And yes, it is reading a dash or a, it's not saying A minus, but a lot of screen reader users are used to that. They know that that dash means a minus. So some of the content is the way it reads, they're familiar with, and some they are not. But to make it more appropriate, you would not have even thought to put a space between 87 space dash space 89. Every time it sees those numbers like that, it's going to read it as 87 dash 89, and that has to be made sense of if you don't. And this is something that you learn with experience as you're using this content. A minus will not read, it'll say A dash. B plus it will read because plus is a symbol of mathematics, as well as it has no other alternative, whereas minus can be a dash. So the other thing, because this is an accessible table, as we were tabbing through the content, it was reading the heading. So it would say letter grade B plus, or it'll say score 94 to dash 100, because we labeled the score and letter grade, those two, as column headings. And we have two things we have to do. And we can go to the next slide and I can show you, because I think we may have um, put it in that in writing at some point too. So the one thing that we have done is you have to have headings and you have to have repeat header. So even though you know that your table is not going to run into 2 pages, you would think that doing repeat headers was redundant. Why should I do repeat headers? Because it's not going into multiple pages. That's actually the concept of repeat headers, so that if it goes to the second page, the header appears again. A screen reader actually will see that repeat header and will repeat it, and it needs that checked in order to be an accessible content. So there are 2 things in the table we have to make sure we have, is that it is a designated row or column is designated as a header, and repeat headers is checked. That is how it'll read well. Now, if we have tables that have multiple, like, split images, those are also inaccessible. They have to be uniform table. So when you have a table, which is very, very common in the STEM field, where you have one long column and then you have split columns in the split cells to give more information, make sure you have a text alternative available for the student to understand what that split level, how that split level works and how you're looking at it. Okay, so we will move on to what the styles actually does. Now, to demonstrate styles, what I have done is I've actually tried to show this to you with the PDF document. So this was a syllabus that was created by one of our instructors, and the one he has is accessible. The one that I'm showing, I created an inaccessible format. So go ahead, Jamie, we can play it.
CRJ10 instructor contact information office hours email to email use Blackboard email textbook and other course material there are no headings on this page. There are no headings on this page. List of 1 items. 1. Criminal Justice in Action. Sentence 10th edition by L. Choose. List N. Note 1. The e-textbook is an electronic version and must 2. The e-textbook to purchase or through traffic 114 star 2. Acquiring the e-txt3. Instruct 4. Reading 4. Syllabus post 6. File 7. Handouts post 4. Reading 4. Syllabus 6. 7. Pandemic. Read them carefully. Pages 6 and 7 are critical to succeed. Chapter PowerPoint left quote GPT lecture dash audio right quote. There are no
Okay,
headings on this page.
so what was one of the biggest issues with this page? That was actually first created in Microsoft Word and then converted to a PDF. No headings. Screen reader kept saying, there are no headings on this page. There are no headings on this page. Yep, again, phone number. That also depends on how you have your JAWS settings, and that's how it'll read it back to you, the phone numbers and numbers. It spoke too fast. Like I said in the beginning, one of the things that we are not used to is we are not used to listening to screen readers. The speed of the screen reader can always be adjusted. So any text to speech software that you're using, and there are many various ones that may be used on your campus, because it's not just JAWS. You can have NVDA, which is another software that's used by students who have visual impairments. There is Read and Write, which is mostly focused at for people with learning disabilities or ADHD. You know, even they all, anything that has speech feedback, there should be a way to control the speed at which it speaks. Yeah, no headings was the biggest, and the numbered list was not done right. Okay, so the numbered list was not reading well either. Use of color and asterisks to highlight information. Now, use of color is not completely discouraged as long as color is not the only way that the information is given to you. So there was a star, star, star. So that means even though it's in red, for someone visual, if that is required, that they see something in red to draw attention, it's okay. But the star, star, star should actually get that person to focus on that information too. Numbering structure is unclear. Yep. So numbered lists are accessible, but if they have to be created correctly. So if it is not generated right from Microsoft Word, then it will not read well when converted to PDF either. All right, we may want to go and watch the other one with the accessible. And this is, again, it's partly accessible, some of it. Let's go ahead.
CRJ-101 Instructor Martin J. Littlefield. Contact information and office hour heading textbook and other course material for 6. 7. Course description heading level 1. Class/teaching format heading assignments for class reading and quiz and test schedules left parent class/teach course description heading level 1. An introductory analysis of the agencies and underlying ideology procedures, functions and structure fundamental legal concepts.
So what happened with the heading structure now? What was good about having that heading structure? Heading level was defined, easier to navigate. Yep. So sometimes our syllabus, they are like 7, 8. This particular syllabus is actually 7 pages long. And some of our syllabi are very long. So if the student does not have to or has read it once, but next time just wants to jump to a particular section, they should be able to jump with just the letter H, which is the hotkey, the keyboard command to move headings within headings with JAWS. So every time I hit the H, or if I do the Shift H, it'll go backwards. So H will move me forward and Shift H will take me backwards. So this is kind of how the impact of your design is, right? This is what we wanted you to see, is what happens when it is designed with some structure in mind, using the Microsoft's heading structures and how it actually demonstrated to you for how the students are reading it. So as you can see, using the styles that are that for many years I had no clue what that ribbon had all those styles for. you know it's Now I think of it as programming made easy for us.
Mhm.
So instead of us doing that HTML/H starting a heading /H ending a heading, Microsoft is pretty much putting those codes in for us when we use the styles, right? Heading, subheading, and if you look closely, there is emphasize. So if you want to emphasize something, you can even use emphasis as being part of the structure. The styles has a lot of strength in its use. The other good part is once you have your styles or your how you want those styles, like if you want all your headings to be Calibri 12 bold, if you set that in your main document and set it so that every new document you open consistently has the same structure, then all you have to do it is once. Next time you just click title, it'll give the format the one you want, and every document you create will be accessible.
There's actually a recording of a presentation at SUNY Accessibility Week from last year that talks about how to use styles appropriately. I'll share a link for that in just a moment, but it's a good one to go back because it's a point and click. It gets you from start to finish on how to do that kind of stuff.
So, we are definitely not training you on how to do any of these things. We wanted you to have a view from the student's perspective of how it looks to them, how they hear things, how they navigate documents, and how you using as creators, content creators, using the styles is beneficial to our students as they use it. All right. Is there any way to do PowerPoint in this? We put our compliance training, said PowerPoint's document, employees. Yes, PowerPoints are the same way. You have to have a heading, just like all our PowerPoints. If you see, we have a heading. And when you navigate, JAWS will actually navigate and tell you what the title of this PowerPoint is. We always encourage you not to use blank slides and put in your own text boxes because those are not usually accessible. But you can create it from an existing format in PowerPoint, and when you use an existing layout, those layouts are all accessible, and you should be able to put in your content. You can increase the size, decrease the size, depending on whether you're presenting in an online version or whether you're doing it in a classroom where I don't know if you want the fonts to be bigger, which is, the color contrast, the font size, there are rules and regulations for it. Or I would say rule of thumb, like follow this so that it's an accessible PowerPoint. It looks good even from a distance. So those are some things that they all have the same formats. You have to use those styles. In PowerPoint, as opposed to styles, it is called layout. So you use the layout. All right, any other question? You can use them to navigate also headings. Yep. So when you do headings and you create a PDF from it, again, those codes get converted and they convert them to tags when they are going into a PDF document. The suggested layouts is what I'm talking about, yes. Okay. Move on, Jamie. We can go to the next and this. Okay.
Yeah.
So some of the common places that PDF is used are library articles. Now, someone in the very beginning here mentioned scanned PDFs, right? Scanned PDFs, if you go on and go to your big copy machine in your office and scan content and send it to yourself and then post that in your LMS, that is an inaccessible content. That content will every single time if you're using Ally, it actually has a category of scanned PDFs, and it'll tell you in your institution, whoever is managing your Ally, it'll tell you all of the content that's scanned images. And there are ways to convert it. It depends on the quality of the scan. Just like human reading a scan, if the quality is bad, it's very fuzzy for us to read. Same thing happens with software that's converting a scanned image into a text document. If it's not a good scan, it's going to give you terrible output. It's going to be all over the place. It will not do a good job. So when you're scanning things, try to work and work with your IT department or work with your Student Accessibility Services office to see if there are products that will convert. Off the top of my head, this Adobe Acrobat Reader, the Pro version, will do some conversion for you. If your campus is a read and write user, which is text help read and write, they have a scanning component to it that will convert. Just remember, if there is an image in that document and you've scanned it, no conversion software is going to automatically put an alt text into it. So that is something you have to go in and actually insert an alt text. PDF, Adobe Reader does have an accessibility checker. So you can use the accessibility checker in there. You can use the accessibility checker in Word. None of these accessibility checkers are foolproof. They're not 100% complete in their evaluation of your document. So I would use your judgment and do that. Go through it, see if it makes sense. There are hyperlinks. There are many standards that have to be followed, and those are all available on the SUNY Blue website for AIT accessibility. The standards are available. Along with the standards, there are resources. Microsoft has so many resources. I will always refer if you're looking for ways to do create like hyperlinks that have to be right or tables that have to be correct, go to the source, go to a Microsoft Office website and look at accessibility, and they have the latest, because as you know, versions keep changing. Some of you may still be on 2016, I don't know. Some of you may be in Office 365, it's different. There are many different ranges, the versions range, even though I would say that some of the ways they are done, they have remained consistent, but there might be small things that are improvements that are done that we may not be aware of. Okay. Yeah, I like that, what Jamie said. That was Jamie's document that I was working with about the repeat headers and things. So there are tutorials and accessibility options that are available for you to kind of watch and listen and learn. The next one, and I want to go through this quickly, let's go to the next one. It is on closed captioning. So I really want you to watch this video, and I literally mean watch this video, okay? And think about.
And why they're both important. And then in the next few sections, we're going to actually drill down into vectors and scalars even more and start to learn how to work with them. But just
Volume.
to kind of like disarm the
Mute.
situation.
I had muted it before.
And CC.
Yep. Yep. Sorry.
Okay, we can stop the video at this point. And we want to go back, and we are going to answer a question. Now, some of you may be physicists, some of you are good at doing this, and some of you know these answers already.
I
And
like the
some
honesty of the first response in. That was awesome. I don't have a clue. That was my response too. So you're right there with me.
and some of you know what scalars are, and some of you know how to answer that, and that's completely okay. If you're doing it from prior knowledge, that is okay too. If it is information that you have because you have watched the video and learned it during that video, then that's awesome. You've got it on your first try. That's great. Um, so there goes my next question. So do you think you have to replay this in order to actually learn what scalars are and what vectors are? And this is Physics 101. So you can imagine this is a general education course that probably 100% or if not 75% of your students are probably going to be taking it. So yes, do you have to listen to it and watch it all over again so that you can take notes? 21 to 1, that's a pretty high ratio of people that's telling us that yes, we have to actually watch this again. The reason we had the CC on and no volume is because this is how your deaf and hard of hearing students are watching the videos. So I have, I know Jamie, we always tend to talk about our kids in college, right? So I have a daughter who just finished her freshman year in college, and she did an asynchronous class in nutrition. And each of the class that she was doing, the videos were about 55 to 60 minutes long, and they had about 100 slides in each of them. And so they were watching and they had to engage and they had to learn. If you were to watch a 10-minute video that had information that you really want the students to learn, how long do you think it'll take for that 10-minute video to be replayed and re-listened and kind of to get that information correctly? It's going to take you a lot longer than just 10 minutes. You cannot expect a student to do a 10-minute class and say equivalent, this should take you 10 minutes to learn the content. Just similarly, if you are teaching a 45 or 50-minute lecture, it does not equate to a 45 or 50-minute video lecture. It is really important to make note that playing long videos is always detrimental to the learning. We lose sight of it, we lose concentration, we get really distracted. I will develop ADHD if I don't have it, if I have to watch a video for 50 minutes at a time and learn the content, which is probably, content that's about 2 to 3 hours long of information. Um, the choppiness of the video is making me dizzy. That's actually a valid thing. That might be something that is happening if you're watching it live. If they don't have a good bandwidth and they are watching these videos over and many times, and if they don't have a good bandwidth, they're not getting a good streaming. They're not going to be able to watch it for too long. So what are some of the things that we can go to the next slide that we can do about this, right? What are some good rule of thumbs, um, and I think we have the answers to this one.
Oh,
Jamie, if you want to go on to
let's leave this for this one instead of what issues, what we be able to do to fix the content or do
yeah,
better next time in
yeah.
this. Just pretend that's not the question on the slide.
Yeah. So important gesticulations are lost due to choppiness. That is, the video was being played, in a different way. If you actually went to the YouTube, it wasn't that choppy, but this was through a presentation, so it was a little choppier than normal. But again, choppiness is definitely an issue that may happen if you, someone said, this is my life. This is my life as a student, or this is my life as a faculty member. That's a thing. Okay.
Uh,
Need punctuation. This is where we have the difference between closed captioning that's auto-generated and closed captioning that are actually created by third party. So what some of the good things how many of you use interactive videos? Like, put something in, have a question, recap, a slide that recaps what that just got learned, and then go ahead and ask questions about it. Make sure the student has stopped and has actually realized whether they have learned the information or not, and then they can go back and revisit things that they have not learned. So if you have a student, or if you are a person with a hearing impairment or are deaf, you can imagine how long it's going to take for them to actually learn the content. And this does not just apply for someone with that disability, it actually applies for almost most of our students learning this content. So provide a transcript, provide, all of the backup, all, various resources that they can visit and learn from. Show it on the whiteboard, then turn and tell the students so they don't have to try to read the captions and write at the same time. Many of us don't even realize that we're doing that, but that's how we teach in class, and that's how we want to do the recordings, because when we are teaching in class, we're doing the same thing. We're talking and we're writing. I'm saying we, and I'm not a faculty member, but yeah. But most faculty members, tend to write and talk, which works fine in a classroom. Okay, and how do we have? Speed is too much to take notes. Find a shorter, accessible video that covers most of the content you want. Although I agree with that a little bit, sometimes it's very nice for the students to see their own faculty member do the teaching. It's something that Donna in the earlier one said. Students love to hear my voice. They like to see me. They like to see, so making it personal. If you are the teacher and you have your video on it, there are tons of Khan videos and this videos and that videos that you can always link and have them listen to. But having that connection with your instructor is also very important. Okay, add descriptive transcript. Okay, we will go to descriptive videos. So, I know that there will be faculty members that will say, I cannot make content 10 minutes long because there is so much I need to cover. And content actually flows in such a way that it is a 45-minute video. If that is what your video is, then make sure you have something in between that breaks it up a little bit. And another good tip for not making videos too long is if you have to make a change in it. A short 10-minute video, recaptioning it or changing it and editing it and reposting it is a lot less work than doing a 45-minute or an hour-long video, which you made a mistake and there was something that you're going to change for next use, and you have to set it up for captioning again, send it to a third party, and we all know that is not an inexpensive option. There are many free options that are available, yes, but we tend to not get accuracy with that. And if you do want to make sure that your important words are not getting substituted. So after you have created a video, watch it with closed captioning, make sure that the captions are, if you are doing auto-generated, that it's not changed some of the crucial critical words that students need to have accuracy on to understand it. All right. So this is creating videos for someone with a hearing impairment. Now, what do you do? If we move on to, I know I
Sorry,
can see the little, yeah,
the captioning covers the button.
yay. So closed captioning is generally for someone who is deaf or hard of hearing, but you can think of your English as second language learners. It is kind of important for them too, to have that captioning. It helps. You have someone with a learning disability, the captioning helps because they're actually hearing and listening and reading the content, and that's the dual input that someone with learning disability or even attention deficit, it actually really helps them to have that information on the screen. Now, descriptive videos are mostly for blind and visually impaired students because you may be playing a video and there is a lot of music and content is moving behind that music and it's wonderful, right? But if there is no narration, if there is no content that needs that information is, if you close your eyes and you are watching the video, will you be able to understand everything that's being taught on that screen? So it's important to be able to narrate as well as you're teaching, as you're writing something. If you're writing a large number, read the numbers out, read the digits out, so that you are actually giving that information to the student both in two ways. So they can actually, you're helping the someone who is having a learning issue and someone that is not able to see the screen. So whenever you create a video or are thinking of creating video, if you can close your eyes and think of watching the video as a blind person, as a person who is blind, you will know where you need to emphasize and say some of the content so that you're not always waiting for descriptive videos, because descriptive videos, it takes time to create them and it is very expensive. So just to be able to make sure that you are reaching that population, you should take that into consideration. Okay. All right. Do you, Okay, so this is kind of a wrap-up slide. This is what we were trying to achieve from our thing is, what does accessible content provide? It provides seamless access to everyone. Assistive technology works well with it. If it's created correctly, any assistive tech will seamlessly work with that content. It increases engagement, which was something that Donna and Tom emphasized on, engagement, facilitate learning, consistency in course delivery, partners in learners. And so we are, partnering with them. We are all learning from this. So making sure that our students are interacting with the content and learning it. Um, those are some of the wrap-ups. And our next slide is probably on our end. And these are the resources. Please, when you get the recordings and you have access to the slides, if you're looking for content, some of the resources, they're here. We, SUNY, like Jamie said, we had that accessibility week where we did many webinars where they were actual trainings. So if you want to go back and watch those, you can do that. There are resources available on a lot of colleges have developed their own resources and they're on their own web pages. I know Buffalo State has it. Do It. Many of you may be aware of the Do It project. The Do It project has a lot of information. They have been in the forefront of doing this. And I've been doing this for 28 years and I have known Do It for probably 28 years, so they've been there for a long time. All right. So again, we should not discount Google, and Google has a lot of accessibility options built in. They're getting comparable to, and if it's a Google campus and you're using it, please make sure you're using the accessible content creation within that. If you have any questions, you can contact Jamie or me at any time and we will try our best to answer. Have you missed any questions?
I think I was keeping up towards the end there. I
Okay.
think that was great. We are going to have to switch
Yeah.
over to our next session, but I
Which
really appreciate.
Jamie Jamie's presenting again, so
Well, I'm doing basically what I'm doing this. I'm just the grunt here. I'll do the grunt work here.
all right.
But I do appreciate your time here, Sumana, so much,
You're
and
welcome.
sharing your expertise with all of us.
Yes.
Thank you. There is a
Please.
question if you'd like to address it in the chat while I switch over, Sumana.
Okay.
Hey, Stephanie, I added you as co-host.
Thank you.
Just have to find one of my 17,000 browser windows and figure out which one is the one I'm on right now. All right, so we're going to launch right into the final session for today, which is a discussion on inclusive and equitable technology. I am going to, if you'll give me just a moment, share my screen. Or did I already do it? No, I haven't done that yet. It's been a long day. And I'll do some quick housekeeping if that's all right, and we'll get started. So welcome to the final session for the first day of the Otter Institute. We are recording all of these sessions and they'll be posted on the SUNY CPD's YouTube channel. It's also going to be available on the SUNY Otter website where you went to register. So that's at suny.edu/otter. We will be taking questions in the chat and be addressing them as they come up. We'll also be using, again, Mentimeter to do some polling questions and get some input from you all today. So please feel free to post your name and your affiliation, campus affiliation in the chat. And but please maintain mute on your microphones unless we ask you. It makes for a better experience for everybody there. And finally, if we could, I'd like to mention one more time that we have a trivia contest this week to earn this cute little otter, SUNY Blue Otter. And today's question is, what is the name for a group of otters? And, you know, it depends. It's a romp if it's on land, and it's a raft if it's in the water. So you can go ahead and add in your name and the answer to this question at the Google form that I just linked to. And with that, I am going to hand this, I'm going to hit record first before I forget. And I'm going to